Hey! This video is a Moto Academy post. Enjoy. Okay, you guys, this is one for the November challenge, huh? Jackson, for you, but also for the rest of the members. I was thinking, what am I going to share? Oh, what am I going to share? This camera that I have in my hand, that is what I'm going to share. Let me show you. Here on my desk, I have the other one. This is the Action 3. This I bought, well, I think 2.5 years ago, almost 2 years ago. Why did I buy it? Well, I think that's pretty obvious. If I have to send a video to AJ, yeah, I need to wait to record it. We've been doing stuff with the phone as well, but I never can get a person to do that for me. So why not just buy this simple camera? It's not big. Put it on a stand next to the track and start recording. And because of doing that, I started recording other people. And indeed, as you see now, I'm recording on one camera, and the other one I already bought. This is the Action 3. And let me start it up. Yeah, so now I'm also recording this one. That is the Action 4. That's the one that I bought afterwards. So nowadays we have the Action 5. Why did I buy the Action 3 and not a GoPro? Well, I did a lot of research on internet, and there were quite some people unhappy with the GoPros because they just stopped working or heated up too easily. So small intervene, different outfit. You see, this is the next day. I'm editing the video that I recorded yesterday, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, overheating. I did get the Action camera 4 overheated, not the Action 3. And that was during a warm day, and there was almost no wind, and I had the Action 4 on a stand with this foam on, and everything is black. And I was recording a few slow motion shots, and that is of course doing then 4K, sorry, but 120 frames per second, and I think I shot them in 2K7 at that moment. And at the moment that I was doing the slow-mos, I was thinking, oh, okay, still it's going okay, but at some point he said, I'm too hot. And later on, when I put the same camera, that's maybe 10 minutes later, I put it up somewhere next to the track again, and just record in 30 frames per second. But even then, after again 10 minutes, it stopped on me again. So what I did was remove this thing, so there was a little bit more heat be able to come out. But also what I noticed is when I got it off, the camera is really so hot that you almost burn your hand. So it's really hot. And later on I was thinking, to cool it down more, I should have opened the spot for where the battery is, because I think most of the heat will go into the battery. And even if I would maybe would have inserted let's say another battery which is cold, not that the warm one is empty, but just a cold one, then a lot of the heat can go into that new cold battery that you put in. So that might be a tip. Yeah, just wanted to share this with you, that also an Action camera will overheat. One of the things that I would also like to share with you guys, let me show that, that is, if you are doing any helmet recording, I think with the normal mics that are in these things, it is horrible what you get. So what you need is also something like this. Yeah, it's a simple foamy thing. You can buy it at Amazon very easy, and then the sound is much better. Also, the nice thing is with the action things, you see I have these extra boxes, and in there I have even 3 batteries, and to be honest, I seldom use an extra battery if I go to the track. So but the nice thing is that for the same money, yeah, of a GoPro, I think you have an Action 3 or 4 with 2 extra batteries. And what I've understood is that these batteries even last longer than from the GoPro. So yeah, do your calculation. Is the image quality good, bad, worse? Well, I do not really know. I did a recording in the past of within GoPro. I think that was a 7 in that time. Yeah, it's similar. I was a little bit disappointed with the action cameras with the quality, so that is something that I would like to share, because I think if you take a modern info, that records much better than an action camera. But to be honest, if I only wanted to be some movies and not high pro scene or whatever what, well, then this is good enough. And I sent in my footage for AJ to have a look at it. I think it is most of the time good enough. You cannot zoom in, that's impossible with these cameras, so you have to bring the camera and put it somewhere where you want it recorded. What's more, if you would buy a camera now, I would go for the Action 5 because it has new batteries. They last even longer, what I heard. I don't know how much percent. What you also need to get is a lot of these extra connection guys, and I have all kind of shapes also for my iPhone, etc. Make sure that you have enough of that stuff. Another thing that I would say is handy to have is a sort of holder where you put all your SD cards in, and there are always these small micro SD cards. Let me put you on the stand for a moment. Whoop. And that is also something very handy to have a stand. What is a stand? Well, you can buy a tripod, but I had already these microphone stands because in the old days my speakers were standing on it. And if I buy a card, and it's a micro SD card, they're always so small. And so I always buy one with an extra adapter, so that at least I have something in my hand. Because if I have these things, and think about it, when you're at the track, it's so easy to lose. So I always put it in these things. I give it a number, and I put it in a very simple thing. It is about, let's say, $10, and at least you have a sort of overview of all your stuff. Yeah, it's just a handy tip. What's more handy? Well, I will make a few numbers also. So because today I had to buy a new hard disk. I don't know if you recognize this thing. It is 8 terabytes. It's not the biggest that you can buy, but I had to buy it because now that I have the 2 cameras, it seems that I start recording more and more video, and I only this year I think I recorded about 1 terabyte. Yeah, and so my SSD was already getting a little bit full, so I needed a second place to store it. So you need some backup place. So at the end of the video I will also include some calculation, simple numbers of so how much footage is how much storage. Yeah, so there's also a little bit of tip. Now you see the quality of the movie here. It's not so good inside. With action cameras you really need a lot of light because this has a very small lens. So, but okay, that is the downside of an action camera, and on the other hand, it's not so expensive. One more thing, if you think, oh, I want to buy it, maybe even for my kid, do realize that It takes a good computer with a lot of storage to do some editing on these videos, because I can recall from the beginning of this year, a guy that I always see at the track, and also his girl, we were in the same class as well, and she said, yeah, I want to buy an action camera, but I see you with the action camera, blah blah blah. And I said, okay, what kind of computer do you have? Now, yeah, my mother has a laptop and my father has a computer. Yeah, and what is in that computer? You need a good computer to do some editing on video. And even I do not do editing on 120 frames per second videos, because for me, I do not need that. I always go for 30 frames a second. And even from the helmet, I do not go for 4K. It doesn't add any value. Even it is getting worse, I think, with these cameras. And therefore, if you decide to do that, you have to keep in mind it is, okay, one is the money for the camera, two, all kind of extra equipment that you need next to that. Now you can calculate at least $100 for extra stuff that you need. And then you need a computer at least of, I would say, $2,000 or euro. Yeah, that is really what you need if you want to start editing these videos. Of course, you can do it on your phone, yeah, because officially it comes with an app, and you do it on your phone. But after 2 or 3 weeks, your phone is completely filled up, and you're like, yeah, and now what? Yeah, I leave that up to you. Just the numbers for some information for you. So I'm switching the camera off and thinking, oh yeah, there's more that I need to share. I bought this bad baby with the Action 4. That is a GPS tracker thingy. For me, it was mainly the idea was that I could remotely switch the camera on and off. I thought, well, this is very handy because I put my camera next to the track and I drive by and I click and it would start. But it doesn't work like that. You have to be very close to make a connection, first of all. And then finally, when the connection is there, you cannot walk off too far because then the connection is lost again. And then you have to go back again to make the connection. So I bought it. Useless. Don't buy it. The other thing is this thing. I like this thing a lot. That is the DJI Mic II. I said to you, AJ, you can also use it on your telephone directly. I tried it. It's terrible sound because that, I don't know, the conversion to Bluetooth messes up the sound of this thing. I did recordings directly recorded on this thing, and then you can later on combine it with the audio that you have. That works fine, but you need to know how to do that, right? There is also a setting in this thing that you can record with background noise reduction. No, it is terrible. Don't do it. Make sure that you record it just in the normal way. The other thing is with this thing, and that is pretty handy if maybe I'm doing something like this as a talking head, but also maybe outside somewhere. This is, of course, if you bring that close to the person who's talking, AJ, you must know these things. Yeah, then you have much better the sound of the person standing a little bit away from the camera instead of open air.
En probeer gewoon heel de bocht gewoon helemaal te nemen met constant gas. Je kunt op het einde, omdat daar nou ook aan het spoor zit, kun je ook weer wat gaan versnellen. Maar het is gewoon dus belangrijk dat we die motor wat schuin duwen.
So what you can do with this thing, but it's a little bit like this guy, you can make a connection with the Action 4. And it works pretty okay until you walk too far away. Because then, and also if you have it here and you turn your back to the camera, it becomes harder, yeah, because yeah, the waves have to go around you, so it doesn't work that well. And I noticed that even when we're still a little bit into the camera, like on a track, because I was using this on a coach, on a Dutch coach, and I had really big pieces of footage without any audio because this stopped working.
Duwen en elleboog omhoog.
and even when it come closer, it didn't reconnect, because you have to first come very close. And if you're not paying attention, looking at the camera all the time that your audio is coming in, yeah, then you have all of a sudden 15 minutes of video and there is no audio. So I would not recommend directly connecting this thing with your Action 4 on a motocross environment. I would just press record on this thing and record on your action camera, and then later on you can combine both of the audios, and where needed you use the audio of this guy if you want a talking person. And for the rest, I think if you put this camera next to a track, the audio is more than enough to have a feeling of what's going on there. Now, another little addition to what I already recorded.